these are things that go in the background, right? They aren't things that your students need to know that you're doing. It's things that you need to know that you're doing so that you're confident that you're improving your students, and you're confident that you're making sure that they fall in love with your classes and they actually rave about them and talk about them to other people, right? Get your classes to go viral. And you'll notice Superman slow-mo. Over here, I also have blank slow-mo. That's because this first one actually works in both situations. It will improve your students, and it's going to get them to love and rave your classes. So I'm going to write it in here. Superman. Okay, so Superman slow motion. The idea here is to get your students to start to practice slow motion, but to realize how much value there is in it. So I give them a little story, right? I don't just say, okay, we're going to practice slow motion. No, I get them to want to practice slow motion. And I do that by making them feel like they're Superman or Superwoman, right? And so I start out class saying, okay, today I'm going to teach you how to be Superman or Superwoman, right? I'm going to do that by, I want you to think of when somebody shoots a gun, right? As a human, we see the explosion, right? The spark of the gun. We see, or we hear the noise of it starting, and then we see the impact of it hitting somebody, right? But we don't see the actual bullet travel all along the way to the impact, right? Whereas Superman, he's got such a fine-tuned eye, so he's so fast and so clear on everything that he can see the bullet travel every single moment of the way from the shot to the impact, right? And that's what I want you guys to do today, is I want you to see every single moment of the way from, and this is where I tie it in to whatever we're practicing, right? So a lot of times it's counterbalance that I'm using this concept for, and I want them not just to see the start of counterbalance and the end of counterbalance, but I want them to see every single moment going through counterbalance, right? And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm actually going to let you guys see how I implement this in a class so that you can literally copy me word for word if you want. I wouldn't recommend writing down the exact words. I'd recommend just having the general idea, maybe having some bullet points that you want to make sure you cover. But I want you to see how easy it can be and how it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I'm going to show you, it's just a minute-long video of me explaining this to a class. And it's not the best audio, so I apologize if it's not, perfect audio, but I think it will give you the idea. Here we go.
We're going to work on counterbalance for this class. And my goal with you guys in this class is to turn you into Superman and Superwoman when it comes to counterbalance. And what I mean by that is, just like in real life, if someone were to take a gun and shoot it, right, we would see the explosion or hear that it fires, right, and then we would see the impact that happens on someone else. But we probably wouldn't see the bullet traveling to the impact, right? Our eyes just are not fine-tuned enough to see the bullet go, right? But Superman, he can see the bullet go every step, right? He's like slow-moing the whole thing, and he can just run alongside it and just see it there and stop it at any point. Be like, no, let's move the bullet a little bit over here, right? Okay, let's have it hit this target. It can change so much. Has so much power over it, right? I want to do that with our counterbalance. Right now, as I've been watching you guys in the last few classes, I noticed that it looks more like just firing the gun and then the result, right? So like start of counterbalance, end of counterbalance. And what I'd like is for you guys to experience and see the slow motion feel of seeing every single moment all the way through the counterbalance. So you're really in control of every moment of it. Does that make sense? Say yes?
Yes. Let's think about what are the bullet points that we want to hit in this Superman slow-mo analysis that we're going to share with the students. We want to excite them, right? So we definitely want to talk about Superman or something like that. But hopefully you saw me explain several different things. You saw me explain the concept of Superman seeing the bullet, right? So the key is I'm talking about something they already know, right? And something that they like, right? Everybody loves maybe not everyone, but most people love Superman or Superwoman and that concept of being a superhero, right? So I'm connecting that with like normal humans, right? And comparing them in a regular life situation of a bullet, something they all understand. And then I bring it into, okay, here's a scenario of dance, you know, and I see you guys acting as humans, right? And I want to get you acting as superheroes, right? I want you seeing every single moment of this. And the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we tie it in with whatever they're working on, right? So I think, okay, I'm going to explain this concept of Superman sees the bullet versus humans just see the beginning and end. And then I'm going to tie it into what I'm working on, right? It's counterbalance, the beginning and end of counterbalance, whereas I want you to be the Superman or the Superwoman that sees every single moment of it. Right. And that's the Superman slow-mo concept. Say, and use Superman or superheroes, use that superhero concept, and then tie it into your beginning and your end of what you want them to go slow motion with, right? It could be a whole basic. You could say, I want you to see every single moment of the basic, right? Or probably, I would probably go even more in depth because a basic usually has like 8 counts to it, right? So I would probably break down like 2 beats and be like, I want you to see every second of these 2 beats and then move on to another 2 beats. I want you to see every second of these 2 beats or something like that. If you're working on, and I probably wouldn't say beats, I'd say of the rock step, of the triple step, of something like that, right? And this is an example, like I've used this a ton of times now. That example I showed you is one of the first times I had started using that concept. And you can get better and better and just tweak and improve it as you go. But it's really, don't spend much time on it. You notice it was 1 minute and 15 seconds or 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then we're into practicing what I want them to practice, right? So it was just a quick way to inspire them. And that is the Superman slow motion.